Good morning, everyone. Debbie is busy putting flowers out, which is beautiful. So welcome to morning meditation. My name is Jan Raisley, and this morning I'm going to use a bell. When you hear that bell, take a deep breath in. Remember to center and focus on that which is inside of you, which is spirit. During the meditation, I'll ring the bell again, just as a reminder to pull yourself back if your mind has started to wander. But wherever it wanders is where it's supposed to be. And then finally, I'll use the bell to close the meditation. invite you all to take a deep breath. And when you're ready, come back to the room. And I want to thank you all for the gift of meditating in community this morning. Just a reminder that service starts at 10:30. Namaste.
Good morning. You can keep it going. You can start one big family underneath me. All right, y'all. How are you doing this morning? Good, good. Well, welcome to CSL San Jose. It is time for us to do our opening song. Stand up and sing One Big Family with us, please. Here comes the praise team today. We have Elizabeth McCracken, Gretchen Vogel, Kelvin Hatchett, and me.
Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Thank you, band. Oh my goodness, it's a Sunday morning, the first Sunday in August. Can you believe this is the 8th month of the year? I cannot believe it. This is, although it felt like July was the longest month in recorded history. I got to say that. But we are flying through this year. So I am Reverend Cheryl McCrary. I'm the senior minister here at CSL San Jose. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad you are here, so glad to see everyone out there. You know, here in this community, we believe that life is good, that God is all there is, and that each of us can create and enjoy the lives we truly desire. And so that's what we're here doing, learning how to use spiritual tools and practices to do just that. So welcome home, everybody. Welcome home. So good to see you. All right, so let's get started with our morning. We had meditation this morning with Jan Racely. Hey, Jan, how was it? How did it go? Beautiful. If you say so yourself. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Meditation with practitioner Jan Racely. And right now, we have Laura Chasmer practitioners coming up to do call to service. And practitioner Suzanne Mulcahy, come on up, is going to do the invocation. So they will start off the service, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, this is the time that we go within. I'm going to ring the bell, the bowl 3 times, In each ring, allow yourself to go deeper.
God is. God is the magnificent, all that is, the all, the everything, the beginning, the end, and everything in between. And I know that God expresses in, as, and through me. And I pause to really hear that for myself as I invite you to hear it for yourself. Because God expresses in, as, and through you. God expressing as you. And in that expression today, I know that our service and our time together is blessed. I know that it is an expression of God. Everything we say, we sing. I know that Reverend Rochelle's message lifts and inspires and resonates in us in the way that I need to hear, as I claim that for you in a way that you need. And I'm grateful today. I'm grateful for Reverend Rochelle's message, for our praise team expressing, for our production team, for our teens gathered, having their own spiritual expression and experience. Because it's all God and it's all good. And in profound gratitude for this community, for all that we express in the world, the ripples that we create. I know that it is all God and it is all good. So I have speak my word and I release my word into the action of the law, knowing that it is already so. And please anchor this with me and say, and so it is.
Hello there. You know, I'm so used to having a song after that, and they've changed the order on me since the last time I hosted, so, you know, hey, what can I say? It's time now, after the invocation, for us to, what word would I use? How about invoke our statement of being this time? We're not recreating it, we're not reciting it, we're invoking it. So if you could all stand and repeat after me, or with me, excuse me. We believe that life is good and God is all there is, and that love is the only power. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family, bringing the gifts of active compassion and kindness to the world. Our purpose is to transform lives, build dreams, and reveal God through education, music, prayer, service, generosity, and play. As part of play, say hi to somebody next to you and someone you don't know. Okay, y'all, if you could return to your seat assignments. Later on, you can switch seats, okay? But we need to get a proper, make sure everybody's on the plane that needs to be there. Alrighty, so today, our very own Elizabeth Jade is offering a workshop from 12 to 2 p.m. called Sacred Space, Honoring the Gifts of Ritual. So please, if you've already signed up, attend. And it is still open for registration at the concierge after service here. This goal of this class is to let you create a ritual practice that reflects you and your relationship with Spirit.
And I just have to say, Elizabeth Jade, practitioner, is a powerful spiritual teacher. So I just have to say that for her. Okay, so our next thing that's happening August 11th is we have a caregiver support circle. I'm so glad that this is happening. It will be happening on second Sundays from 12 o'clock to 1:30. And how many people here are caregivers in some way? Raise your hand nice and high. Okay, Mary Jo Garrett is one of the facilitators, and Reverend Marsha. Mary Jo, will you stand up so people can see you? And if you are a caretaker, raise your hand so she can see you. Yes. So many people are caretaking, and Mary Jo and Reverend Marsha Benkala will be offering the circle on the second Sundays. Please join them next week from 12 to 1:30 so that you can be supported in your caregiving and learn some new tools. Yes, Mary Jo?
Treats will be provided.
So caregivers will get treats. I like it. I like it.
And that's an ongoing second Sunday.
That is an ongoing second Sunday. Will there be treats every Sunday? Second Sunday? Okay, all right. But there will definitely be treats next Sunday, so I think you should show up and be there. Wonderful. Thank you, Mary Jo.
And then as we like to keep the slide projector folks on their toes, next Sunday also is Sound Bath with Erica Valentine for the morning meditation. If you've never experienced that, or if you have, please get here early for the meditation and you will be bathed in the most amazing sounds.
Okay, on August 15th, we have Creative Brilliance starting. It is a fantastic 5 Thursdays of powerful, powerful, powerful creativity in this painting community that is safe and supportive. Deb Dake is going to guide you through ways that you can reclaim and explore and reimagine your creativity on canvas. So Deb Dake, will you stand up so everyone can see you? This is going to happen on 5 Thursdays. It's a fantastic course from 6:30 to 9 p.m., and it's in person only. So if you're interested, please see Deb after service if you have questions, and at the concierge desk, you can sign up for the class.
May I add one comment about that?
Yes.
And there's not a paintbrush in sight. You will create your masterpiece without a paintbrush.
How do you do it?
You use everything else that you can find that might stick some paint on a surface.
Okay, I like it. All right, at the end of the month, we have an incredible guest speaker. His name is Reverend Jerry Troyer. I had the pleasure of meeting him and hearing him and working with him in Phoenix. He is one of the leaders of Anton, which is the affiliated New Thought Network. It is another organization like CSL, the probably second largest religious science organization. And Reverend Jerry will be here to speak on Sunday. And he has this incredible workshop I took with him a couple of years ago called Being at Home in the Muddy Water. And it's all about how do you navigate through these really challenging times and stay anchored in truth, very much like the lotus is at home in the muddy water. So that'll happen at the end of the month.
And then next Sunday, August 11th through September 8th, it's our annual outreach fall donation drive where we are collecting canned goods, that's canned goods, for Second Harvest Food Bank. So that begins next Sunday. So please participate. Thank you.
Great. And the last thing I want to say, last two things. One is a notice went out about Gary Lynn Floyd being here next week, and unfortunately he will not be here. I just got an email this morning that he will not be able to make it. I don't know why, and we will find out when we'll reschedule him. But I do, so I just want you to know he will not be here next week. And there's lots of stuff coming in September. So please, if you're on the e-news, please open that because you'll see lots of things that are happening before we announce them on Sunday. And if you want to register for a class on the website, be sure to scroll down and make sure you can get registered. Okay, that's all I got.
Alrighty, now the new order of service is for me to introduce. I get the pleasure of introducing our guest musical artist today, the incomparable Deborah Tisdale. She is originally from Los Angeles, and I have to get this so I can see the whole thing. She's originally from Los Angeles and began performing in sacred choir music down in LA, and then moved up here and continued that, where she joined the East Bay of Religious Science. And then after being in the choir, she felt compelled to step out as a soloist, which she has done admirably. She was one of the original members of Dominion A Cappella Ensemble until they disbanded, but then that group formed the seeds of a new quartet called Sounds of Joy, which is currently active, and Deborah leads. She's also performed as backup singer for other lead singers, and clearly is a guest soloist in several Bay Area churches and centers, such as this one. She performs jazz as the vocalist for the all-woman big band Melba's Kitchen. I would love to see that. Which recently performed in the series Seen and Heard, Bay Area Women in Jazz and Beyond at SF Jazz. They also performed at Yoshi's earlier this year in Oakland. So the jazz cred is real. Deborah Tisdale.
Thank you. Something's calling, hey, and all that isn't real is falling away, and what is true will never stray. We take our stand right here today. Past and future have no glory. Shed my name, shed my story to find what is real. So deep inside, I wanna feel the one I hide. Beyond the pain, beyond the fire, beyond the blame, beyond the mind, something's calling, hey, and all that isn't real is falling away, and what is true will never stray. We take our stand right here today. The one I only know when all is quiet, the one behind the shore, can't deny it. And so I go and I say goodbye to me, the old me, to try to see, and so I go to be beyond the pain, beyond my pride, beyond the blame, beyond the mind, something's calling, hey, and all that isn't real is falling away, and what is true will never stray. We take our stand right here today. We take our stand right here today. We take our stand
right here today. We take our stand. We take our stand. We take our stand right here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you. Beautiful. And Deborah, is that an original song?
It is.
Gorgeous.
It's
Wow.
it was written by my friend Charles Moselle, and a little tidbit is that his daughter is producing a movie, and this song is supposed to be featured in it.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Hopefully, I'll get an update on when it's coming out.
Beautiful. Let us know.
Yes,
Beautiful song.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our band. Our band is gone, but thank you to our incredible band. We have Troy Arnett on keyboards, Billy Johnson on drums, Dave Marchot on guitar, and I think that was it. That was our band today. So let's give a big round of applause for the band, please. Wherever they may be. Oh my goodness. So I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad that we are turning the page into a new month. Before I start, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you who have reached out to me and supported me in prayer and sent me cards and gifts for my father's passing. I really appreciate it. It's a difficult time, and many things can be true and occurring at the same time. So while there is a deep, deep sadness, there's also there's also incredible freedom and joy existing within me, all these things at the same time. But thank you for your support. So our theme this month is conscious conflict. What do you think about that? I hear some snickers, some laughter. Conscious conflict. I don't know. I mean, does anyone feel like we have conflict that's up that we need to be looking at from a spiritual perspective? Yeah, absolutely, right? Yes, yes. So conflict is up, whether it's politics, whether it's happening within families, whether it's war, whether it's between countries, individuals, groups, factions, within ourselves, conflict is up. It is part of the human experience. And so I want to talk about this month, how do we walk through this consciously? We have a long way to go before we get to Election Day. And that seems to be the big thing that's up right now that's creating a lot of conflict and a lot of charge. But conflict always exists. Where there's where there's human beings, there's human consciousness. And part of human consciousness is we bump up against each other, and we have these conflicts and dust-ups. And what we want to do is know that these things occur, and then how do we walk through them in a way that is awake, in a way that's generative versus destructive, right? So that's what I'll be talking about this whole week. So here's the thing. Conflict is defined as a state or a condition marked by a lack of agreement or harmony, right? A lack of agreement or harmony. It can be defining a fight, right, to come into a collision or disagreement. It's a situation where there's incompatible values or vision or interest or expectations. These are the things that stir up a conflict. And so here's the thing that's really interesting. Many times, folks are conflict avoidant, especially in our communities. Right? In our communities, because we focus on the ways that we're connected, the ways that we are one, the ways that we are alike, the things that bind us and tie us together in the best ways, many times what we will do then is we avoid conflict, right? Or we just put a happy face on and pretend like we're not in conflict. And what that actually does is create more conflict. And so what we want to be doing is looking at, okay, wait, why am I avoiding conflict? And how do I then become conscious in it? So what are some of the reasons if you happen to be conflict avoidant? And here I'm talking more about, I'm not talking about actual like conflict, like combat. I'm not talking about that, like physical conflict. I'm talking about the kind of conflict that happens in relationships, that happens in organizations. So why do we avoid conflict? What are some of the reasons we avoid conflict? Just yell them out. Why? Uncomfortable, okay. Why? Fear, okay. Keep the peace, right? Want to keep the peace. Anything else? It hurts. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. What else? People pleasing, yes, right? So these are some of the reasons we avoid conflict. We don't want to offend someone. We don't want to hurt someone, so we avoid conflict. We don't want to speak up for ourselves and say what we really want, so we avoid conflict. We don't want to be seen as aggressive, so we smile and we avoid conflict. We don't want to be rejected. We don't want to lose control. We don't want to be attacked. We don't want to feel emotionally unsafe, right? We don't want to feel powerless. So these are the reasons why we will put on a smile, stuff down our feelings, harbor resentment, and let it fester, but we have a great face on and we're avoiding conflict, right? And so that is a very unconscious way to deal with conflict. It's a very unconscious way to deal with conflict. Conflict avoidance at its root is rooted in people-pleasing, right? This people-pleasing behavior, it's a deep fear of upsetting other people. I don't want to upset them. I don't want to do this. I don't want to rock the apple cart. I don't want to be the bad guy, right? So it's this deep thing around people-pleasing. Oh, people-pleasing. And people-pleasing, I always say this, is the gateway drug to being out of integrity. It is the gateway drug to being out of integrity. And here's how. People-pleasing is rooted in seeking approval from other human beings, right? Making sure your behavior is pleasing, that you're doing things that are pleasing other people. And what happens if you're too driven by people-pleasing, and I'm not talking about, obviously we all want to be liked, right? We all want to be liked by other people. That is a human desire, and it's a healthy human desire. But when it tips over into a more toxic form of people-pleasing, like I'm always going to do what someone says, I always have on a great face, I'm always being nice, right, versus kind, when that is an operation, then it becomes very difficult to take a stand when the chips are down. It becomes very difficult to have a good boundary, or to say no, or to stop something, or to tell someone else to stop something, right? It becomes very, very difficult to stand up for what's right if that toxic quality of people-pleasing is happening, because you don't want to disturb or upset someone whose displeasure you might activate. You don't want to do that, so you stay quiet, right? You stay quiet. You consent to whatever's going on. You feed that toxic behavior, right? So this is one of the things that's really interesting that happens on an individual level, because what's interesting and what is true is, individually, if we avoid conflict and run from conflict, which is really a fear of conflict, which that fear stokes more conflict, right? Because we know how the law works. The law works with whatever imprint you put on it with a lot of energy, that's what you manifest, right? Yes? Hello? Yes? Okay. So if you're conflict avoidant, you're fearful of conflict, you run from conflict, where is your energy? Conflict. What does the law say? Yes, more. Here you go. Here's more conflict. So maybe you're avoiding conflict at work, and then boom, conflict shows up for you at home, right? You're avoiding conflict in this relationship over here, and boom, you're now in a road rage incident on the road, right? You're avoiding conflict in one place. It doesn't always show up. That when you avoid conflict, it doesn't always manifest in the exact same place, but it will show up somewhere because your fear of conflict is stoking conflict, right? The thing you're running from, you're running to. Right? And this is with anything. This is how the law works, right? You're feeding and you're cultivating that seed of conflict avoidance, conflict avoidance, conflict avoidance. The law is here in conflict, conflict, conflict. Conflict, conflict, conflict. Let me create more for you, right? So here's some ways that I see it play out, how people avoid conflict, and see if this sounds, I certainly hear myself in here. So see if any of this resonates for you. So when there's a conflict, and again, I don't mean a physical confrontation where you need to get out of there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about conflict that just crops up in our relationships, in our organizations, in our communities, right? So one of the ways we avoid conflict is we change the subject, right? Immediately change the subject, put off the discussion, not bring up the subject. We withdraw, we put on a happy face, right? My fave is passive aggression, right? We become passive aggressive, and it can devolve into all kinds of other things, ways that we're sidestepping dealing with the issue. And so one of the things I learned in my own journeys with unconscious conflict is that I had to begin to look at myself, right? At myself as the causative factor. So many years ago, and this was a big turning point lesson for me, many years ago, after I had become a practitioner, I went back to college, and out of college, I started a nonprofit. I was an actor. I was producing and doing theater all over Northeast Ohio. And so I had this show that I had gotten about Billie Holiday, a one-woman show. I had gotten the rights from the playwright in New York. I put all the money I had into producing it in Cleveland. I needed some other money to produce it. And this very philanthropic couple that gave lots of money to arts organizations bankrolled the rest of the production for me. And the production was really successful. I did it over many years. The show was called Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. And I did the show over many years. It was very successful. But that very first time I did it, I put in all the work. I got the rights from the playwright. I paid for the rights. I got the musicians. I got the venue. I did the marketing, everything. And this other couple came in and they put some dollars behind it. And when everything was done, and I sold out, that the very first time I did the show, it sold out. Every subsequent time, the show sold out. And at the end, when it was time to pay everyone got paid but me. So the couple that had come in to help, they paid everybody but me. So I was like, okay. Well, that's interesting, because I did all this work. And so a couple more times, so they said, okay, on the next one, we'll do the next one, we'll do another production, and on the next one, we'll make sure you get paid. So like 3 times, there was conflict in this production. 3 times it sold out, it did really well, but there was some kind of conflict when it came time for me to get paid and get what I was owed. And the whole time this was happening, in the background, my mother, who's a lawyer, was saying, you need to have a contract. And I was like, well, I don't need a contract. I'm a practitioner. God is all there is, and these people are, who they were in the community, and there's no way, like, you're just being negative, right? You're being negative. And so, the next time it happened, she's like, you need a contract. I'm like, I don't need a contract because I'm going to do prayer treatment because I'm a practitioner. And so this went on, and finally, the 3rd time, I was like, what the heck? What is happening here? I need a contract, And I also had to begin to look at me, because it's like, okay, I'm the common denominator. I'm the common denominator in this, so what am I doing to generate this result? And so this is something for you to know. If you find yourself having a similar experience in different places, it's time to start asking some questions of yourself, right? And this is the way you become conscious. So what I realized for myself in this relationship and this constant conflict, I realized, okay, I am causing this because I'm afraid to ask for what I truly desire. I'm afraid to say, these are my terms, this is how much it costs, or this is what I want, and then have that committed to paper, right? I was afraid of clarity. I was afraid of using my voice. I was still trying to figure out how to use my voice. I had been in the spiritual cocoon for years, and then I was out in the world where nobody knew Agape cared about it, or a practitioner, or any of this stuff, right? People just operate the way they do. So I had to really look for myself around, okay, I am not making my request clear. I'm not speaking up for myself. And so, but I'm holding expectations of what I think they should do that I have not voiced. And so then when it all blows up, I'm resentful, I'm angry, and then I get to play what you all know from the drama triangle. I get to play the victim. Look at what they did to me, those villains. Those villains did that to me, right? And so I had to really become aware, and one of the blessings of being a practitioner is that when you are doing your work, you're always looking at yourself, not blaming yourself, but you're always looking and asking the question, how am I generating this outcome? It's called radical responsibility. How am I generating this outcome? What part am I playing in this drama that keeps unfolding? And once I realized, I am not being my full self. Right? I'm out of integrity, meaning out of wholeness, not being dishonest, but I'm out of wholeness. I'm not showing up as my whole self. I'm not making a clear request. I'm not saying what I want, and yet I expect these people to meet my needs. It's not going to happen, right? So my job is to be honest, be real, be authentic, be myself, make a clear request, get it in writing, and then move accordingly. And once I was able to make that shift, and those were painful, that was a painful couple of years, very painful couple of years. But once I was able to get that pattern stopped, right? No more conflict. No more conflict. And everything I've done since then, whether I'm contracting with clients or whether I am even viewing for this role a couple of years ago, I'm very clear about who I am, what I've done, what I want, and what my expectation is. Because then we don't have room for there to be a misunderstanding or hidden expectations or conflict to bubble up. Does this make sense what I'm saying? Yeah, so this was a big, big learning for me, and so I want to just invite you into that. So right now, if you are having conflict somewhere, whether it is with a child, whether it is with a spouse, a coworker, or somewhere, you want to really begin. Joel Goldsmith says, begin your spiritual life with the understanding that all conflicts must be settled within your consciousness, right? They must be settled within your consciousness. And so if there's something going on repeatedly, ask yourself, how am I generating how am I generating this? How am I contributing to this? You know, how are my actions supporting this? Right? Maybe I like the thrill of conflict, right? I like the dopamine hit that comes from being charged up around conflict. So this is something for us to really be thinking about. You know, the interesting thing about the word conflict is the root word is the Latin word conflictus, and it means to strike together, right? To strike together, right? So imagine two hands like a high five is how I see it, like striking together, right? And typically, though, we interpret conflict as striking against, right? These two things against each other versus two things striking together. And it reminds me of when you make a fire from flint and steel or something else, you strike these things together to create fire, right? You strike the flint and steel together to create a spark. And then that fire can either be something that brings growth and it warms and it's something positive, or it can be destructive. Right? Or it can be destructive. But if we begin to think about conflict and reframe it as a striking together, not against, right? And so I defined conscious conflict as a way to truthfully, capital T, truthfully respond to conflict in ways that generate insight and empathy and creative resolution and oneness. Right? What if we frame conflict as actually a way for us to grow spiritually, a way for us to understand each other better, a way for us to really recognize that behind our unique expressions is the one, right? A way for us to then, from that place of oneness, come to a creative resolution around whatever the issue is. What if we approached conflict in that way? The entire world would be different. Because here's what's true. We can't be in conflict with ourselves. We can't be in conflict with each other. We can't have conflict in our lives. We can't be conflict avoidance and then say, well, we want peace on earth. It doesn't happen that way, right? Because what's going on with the individual then creates a collective consciousness and a collective body and a collective thought form and a collective paradigm. And then we begin to live out that collective. And the way it changes is individuals have to change. If you want peace on earth, it has to begin with you, in your heart, in your mind, in your relationship, right? If you want conscious conflict, if you want our leaders to be able to consciously resolve the conflict in the Middle East and consciously resolve conflicts everywhere, it has to start with you. Are you able to consciously resolve conflicts with your sister, right? With your parent? With your minister, with your with the people that you're in community with, because if we don't do it, it will not change. Nothing's going to happen out there; it happens right here. And when enough of us know how to be conscious in conflict, then that collective knows how to do that, and then things begin to shift. Right? It starts with the individual, and then it goes to the collective. An author named Scott Aubrey has this beautiful prayer for conflict. He says, I see the person who has been a thorn in my side in a new way. I know that we are cosmically connected and that their presence in my life is a gift. I look closely at the true roots of my irritation and discover a healing opportunity within my heart, a course correction for how I am showing up. I give thanks for this messenger, and I am renewed in the Holy Spirit. Thank you, God, forever. Amen. Isn't that beautiful? Right? Isn't that beautiful? And what I really want to underscore here is when he is saying, or I am saying, that we are looking at this whoever we might have a conflict with as a gift for us, as a source of us to better understand ourselves and also to better understand the other person. It's not saying you condone their behavior or you condone what has happened. That is a different thing, right? It's sort of like empathy, right? Another way to be conscious in conflict is to have empathy, being able to put yourself in another person's shoes, being able to understand their emotional state or their experience. But it doesn't mean you condone it or agree. It means you're just putting yourself in their shoes, right? So in my case with this individual, a part of my process after I looked at myself is I would ask, well, why would this person respond this way? Why would they do that? Right? What's happening for them that they would do that? And so, I began to look at what could possibly be, right? So here's a much older couple. They're trying to establish a legacy. This was a big success, and they're trying to hold on to this, right? They're trying to own and control this. And because this is something important to them. I will go on and have many other things after this. For them, it was sort of our last big thing, and they had it in a grip, right? They wanted to control everything about it. Now, it doesn't mean I condone the fact that they did not honor their agreement, but I began to have a better understanding of why they're behaving in that way. Now, let's talk about politics. Is it possible that wherever you are, wherever your politics are, is it possible to actually look at the other side and go, okay, why would they think this? Why do they believe these things? Why do they support these policies? Why are these things important to them? Right? What happens if instead of blaming, shaming, shoulding, and othering, we actually just go, okay, what would make someone believe this? With a good heart, not in a sarcastic, snarky way, right? But what would make someone feel this way about this particular issue? And if you begin to do that, what happens is you land squarely in that field beyond right and left, which is God, which is oneness, and you realize that actually both sides want the same thing. The conflict is in the how. Right? Both sides want the same thing. If we're talking about politics and the conflict that we see right now in our country, both sides want a better country for for the generations that come after us, for our children. Both sides want to live freely and to flourish and to thrive. Both sides want to have a better life and better, better experiences, better opportunities, be able to get a hold of the American dream and experience that. Both sides want the same thing. But the conflict is in the how we get there, right? How that happens. And so there is no moralizing or shaming or shoulding or othering that's ever going to convince. I don't know if you've talked to someone in the opposite political party from you, but you cannot moralize, shame, guilt them into a different opinion just like they can't do it to you, right? But we can get to the place of going, wait a second, actually, we both want the same things. Okay, I wonder what's happening for them that they think that way that they're espousing is the best way. What would make someone think that? Right? When you allow yourself to be in that space, you're not condoning the other side, right? But you are open to be able to practice empathy. Why do they feel that way? Why do they feel that way? And that creates a space where there can be healing, right? That creates a space where there can be a transformation, not a conversion, right? But a transformation, perhaps a conversation, perhaps true communication. Yes? So being conscious in how we move through this. So everyone's so quiet today. What's going on out there? What's happening? Huh? You're listening? Yeah? Okay, I see some notebooks popping up there. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure you're with me. I want to make sure you're with me. So conscious conflict, some ways to walk through this, right? So the first thing is ask what's going on with yourself, right? You're going to ask yourself some questions. What am I learning about myself? What am I contributing to this situation? Why am I not speaking up for myself? What do I really want in this situation? So really, really practicing and getting to know what's going on with you, okay? Second thing is empathy, being able to understand what's happening with the other person. You don't have to talk to them to understand it, because sometimes that creates more conflict. But just put yourself in their shoes. I wonder why they feel that way. What would make them feel that way? What's going on for this individual? So that's the second thing, okay? And then the third thing and the final thing is then get to what is true. What is the absolute truth, the capital T truth, right? Because here's the thing. If God is all there is, and God is all intelligent, and God created each of us, all things out of itself, then that intelligence also has a solution, right? It already has a solution, and that solution can only work through us to the degree that we're open to it. Right? It can only work through us to the degree that we are open to it and we're letting go of our own rigid ways of doing things and our own rigid beliefs and our own shaming and blaming and doubting, right? Because if you're blaming other people for what's happening or judging other people for what's happening or othering someone else, spirit cannot work through you fully. You're not an open channel. Right? It can't work through you and move through you to actually, so that you can be a place where solutions happen, where creative solutions happen, right? So that is the third thing, is really, really making sure you get to what is capital T true. And this means you have to do your spiritual work. This is when you are breathing on a regular basis, because it's fundamental, right? Breathing, right? So that you're not able to be triggered. I had an interesting phone call this week from somebody who was very, 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 very angry and upset. And what I know, especially in this role, is I try my best not to respond until I am centered. Doesn't always work, because I'm human, right? But I try my best not to respond to something until I can get to the truth about it through my own practice and spiritual work. So it may take me some time. It may happen in a day. It may take a week. It may take a little bit of time. But I try to be in a place of really anchored in the truth before I respond to something that's triggering, right? And so when you're doing your spiritual work, this is one of the practices. You don't have to respond right away, but don't run. Right? You don't have to respond to something that's bait for you to get you into a conflict, but don't run away. Right? So sit and do your spiritual work. Get yourself anchored so that you can be clear and aligned when you are actually in that conflict. So your meditation, your prayer work, your self-reflection, seeing your practitioner, getting yourself aligned with the capital T truth helps you live in that place between stimulus and response, which is the most powerful place to be, right? Then nobody can pull you out, right? You're anchored, you're centered, you're observant, you're witnessing what's happening, and you are very much having mastery over yourself to respond. Yeah, y'all feeling that? Okay. So last couple of things, I'm going to also invite you in conflict. Many times, if you're conflict avoidant, you want to run. Like your instinct is to run, and that can look like a shutdown. That can look like I put my smiley mask on, right? Pretend everything's okay, my smiley mask, right? You shut down, you run, you escape in some way. And another move could be that instead of escaping, you remain present. I am feeling uncomfortable, but I need to have this conversation right now. And I can be in discomfort. It is okay, right? I can be in discomfort. And so really, really anchoring yourself in that space of being present so you can choose how you want to respond, right? So all of these things are connected. And this is how you take these tools that we use here, you take this teaching that we use here that can seem very abstract, right? Oneness seems very abstract, until you think about it through this lens, which is we are all created out of the all that is. We're each uniquely created, and because we are unique, we will come up and bump up against each other. And here's what's really beautiful and true. When we bump up against each other, we get to know ourselves better, we get to know the other better, we get to know the one better. right? We get a better, wider, deeper, richer understanding of the one when we dive consciously into conflict. That is how we get to know each other. For me, what I find in my relationships is that the relationship, once there is a conflict that has been consciously resolved, the relationship is deeper and it's richer and it's truer because the masks have been removed, right? And we've had that conversation, we've had that hard talk, we've had that connection, and it makes the relationship deeper. It builds trust. You know, this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll wrap up. So when Reverend Jeff and I began talking about him coming here, this was last year. So it was like a year ago we started talking about him potentially coming here, and we explored it, and we talked about our relationship and things we had worked on together in the past, and really just walking through our working together, right? And one of the things we talked about is like, how will we handle conflict? You know, how will we handle conflict? And so I remember Reverend Jeff said to me, he said, and the thing I love about Reverend Jeff and our relationship is that we get to principle, right? We get to what's true and just a real understanding of how, you know, what my stuff is and what his stuff is. And so a year ago when we were talking about this, he said, well, we were talking about how we're going to handle conflict, and I'm like, well, we'll just take it to prayer. We'll find a way to handle it. He goes, well, we've had conflict before, and we got through it. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I was like, when did we have a conflict? Because I don't remember this. And he told me what the conflict was about, and I could not remember. And so I said, I cannot remember this. And so he told me like around it was about something at our previous church. And so he gave me the date. So I'm a lawyer's kid. I save everything. So I went back in my email, did a search, and I pulled up the email, and I was like, oh my God, I had completely forgotten that we had this little dust up, and it was not a big thing, but I had completely forgotten that had happened. And the reason I had forgotten it is because we solved it consciously in the moment, right? Or shortly after the moment, we solved it, we talked about it, we prayed about it, we blessed it. It was completely out of my realm of even remembering it, right? And I thought, yeah, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And so I invite you into this place of being really, really awake and really, really present and really anchored in truth as you navigate through these times we're in right now with your family, your friends, with politics, and with each other just around any issue or topic, to be really, really present. So let's turn within, shall we? And so just taking a nice deep breath all the way down into the belly, letting go of whatever is up for you right now. And as we breathe, just settling into the divine presence. That presence that is closer than the heartbeat, that is closer than the hands and feet, that is closer than the thoughts. It is the thoughts. It is the heartbeat. It expresses as the hands and feet. This all-powerful presence that is unshakable, cannot be moved. So we align right now with that presence. Oh, just sensing and feeling that presence radiating through the cells of the body temple, the bones, the joints, the tendons, the molecules. And in this sensing and feeling, knowing that this divine presence, this deep, deep, deep peace created each of us out of itself. And so I know then the word I speak is the absolute truth as I declare and know for each one magnificent health and vitality. I am knowing for each one in the cells and the organs and the tissues of their bodies, of the systems and the functions, that God is, life is, health is, and knowing divine health, accelerated healing happening for each one. I am so grateful this morning to speak the word and to know the absolute truth, to know this divine presence as right relationships. And so I am knowing that in each relationship there is only total support, thriving, flourishing, ease, love, flow. And I am knowing that even where conflict appears, it is dissolved, it is processed, it is released easily and effortlessly, consciously. And so knowing that conflict just falls away, even as I speak this word. So grateful to speak the word this morning, knowing absolute abundance, financial and otherwise, for each one here. All needs met. All needs met. No matter what, no matter the appearance. That God's showing up as the bill paid. God's showing up as more than enough food and clothing and housing and shelter and all of the things. God's showing up as abundance and ease and flow. This is what I know. Oh, I'm so grateful to speak the word this morning. I'm so grateful to know the truth. I'm so grateful for this beloved community. And I know that all is well and that all is God. I release this word now onto the law. I know it is complete. Into the law. I know it is complete. And so it is. And so it is. Amen.
I'm tired of the guilt that brings me pain. Now is the time for me to let go of the shame. The past is behind me. I start anew. Yes, I'm ready for my change right now. I'm ready for my change. I'm tired of the guilt that brings me pain. Right now is the time for me to let go of the shame. The past is behind me, and I start anew. Yes, I'm ready for my change right now, right now. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. Yes, I'm ready for my change right now. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. Yes, I'm ready for my change right now. Yes, I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. surrender. Yes, I'm ready for my change right now. Yes, I'm ready for my change. Yes, I'm ready for my change.
Thank you, Deborah Tisdale, praise team, and the house band. Okay, it is time now for our conscious giving. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate and how thankful I am for your gifts, your tithes, your offerings, your donations. They help us keep this 25,000 square foot campus alive and available and working every Sunday. So thank you for all that you give and all that you do. And I invite you now to take your gift in your hand, and we will do the statement of giving together. Giving affirmation. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Thank you.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source, peace is my power, peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, peace gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Yes, thank you, praise team. All right, so who is here for the very first time? Don't be shy. Who's here for, yay, okay, thank you, welcome. Who's here for the second time, the third time, the fifth time, fourth time, 10th time? Who's been here a lot? Okay, there we go. All right, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome. If you enjoyed your time here, even if you didn't, there's some treats, there's some sandwiches and some fruit out there in the fellowship hall this way. And there's a concierge table if you would like more information about the center. And please say hello to me. I would love to meet you. And whoever else is here for the first time or has been here a lot, I'd love to hug you. All right, so it is time now for our teens are going to make their way to the front. Our practitioners are making their way to the front. Practitioners have on purple stoles, and that lets you know that they are a practitioner. They are available to pray with you. Our practitioners are the ecclesiastical arm of the center, and they provide prayer, counseling, teach classes, all the things. They are the backbone of this center. All right, and I guess we don't have teens coming in today. So Ron Wade, let's come on and let's start our benediction.
Benediction.
Yes, so I'm going to invite everyone to stand up. We're going to sing our final song together, I Release. And we're just going to do one good round of that, and then Ron will do our benediction, and then we're out.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Okay. Repeat after me. I am anchored in my wholeness. I am in integrity with my needs and voice them. I ask questions to understand. And so it is.